confused.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Something Super Podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
And guys, this week we brought AJ back. So say what's up, AJ.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So guys, this week we are going to do a breakdown, full trailer breakdown of Obi Wan Kenobi, which I know is a highly anticipated series. All of us are huge Star Wars nerds, so let's get after it, guys, honestly. Like, I am super excited for this. So I know, Mark, you have a lot of thoughts on this series. So we'll start off with you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching Star Wars literally since I was 4 years old. I'm so excited for this trailer. It gives you just enough to make you wanting more. It doesn't give away too much. I really hope that they don't reveal Vader in any of the trailers. I want to leave that for the show. Now it's Vader. That's the selling point. Anything Star Wars 99% of the time. So more than likely, he's going to pop up in the trailer sooner or later, even if it's just a quick flash of him, because there supposedly is going to be a duel with him facing off against Obi-Wan. At least that's what's speculated by the tweets by both Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor. I mean, it really threw me off when I saw him in that Super Bowl commercial, and it wasn't for Obi-Wan. I was like, okay. But, I mean, I have a feeling that this show is going to kind of do for, the prequels, what, the Batman is doing now for, the other DC movies, where, some things were negatively looked upon, and now people are like, oh shit, this is actually really, really good. Because, the prequels, I love them personally. I love the prequels. But they got a ton of backlash. And I mean, there's so much that they can do. This takes place a year after the Han Solo movie, which I've already said multiple times. I haven't watched, but I know the key points. I know that Darth Maul is now running an underground syndicate type of a thing. And so Darth Maul could make a cameo in this. Ahsoka Tano could make a cameo in this. We already know Vader and Obi-Wan are in it, which was making me lean towards Ahsoka more, just because her tie with Anakin and with Obi-Wan in the Book of Boba Fett, where she was with Luke helping look over Grogu, so maybe she might also help Obi-Wan look after Luke. And maybe that's where they have the familiarity, because maybe she kind of helped protect him or something along those lines. But, I'm so ready for this.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm super excited for the fact that, this is going to essentially be almost like an espionage type TV series, because he has to play that, I don't really know type character. I have no idea about the Jedi, but I'm force sensitive. I have a lightsaber. I'm one of the most well-trained Jedi in the galaxy.
And most well-known.
Yeah, and now I got to play this, virtual nobody, Ben Solo.
Yeah, because
not Ben Solo, Jesus Christ. Ben Kenobi. Yeah, Ben Solo is just named after him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm super looking forward to that. Other things I'm looking forward to from this trailer, obviously we get the Inquisitors, which I think is a huge tie-in from, the Rebels series, from Clone Wars. So now we're getting these guys live action. I know there's a lot of backlash currently because the Grand Inquisitor's head is more of an egg shape.
He's fat.
Yeah, he's not the Grand Inquisitor that we've come to know and hate. But I am okay as long as they play it off well. As long as the character's done well, I think we're all going to look past the, differing looks and the differentiating head shapes. But again, there's so much to be seen, I guess, because it was a short trailer, just shy of 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's 1 minute 47 seconds, it looks like.
So, AJ, that's what you were saying. It's enough to satiate you, but you're also like, fuck, dude, I kind of want a little bit more. I need just, give me 15, 20 more seconds, just a little bit. Give me something. And I think that's the teaser aspect of this. So. Yeah,
and I mean, for me personally, I think most movies, the soundtrack can make or break a movie, and the fact that they're bringing back forgotten John Williams, I feel obviously John Williams was the main guy you went to for all your Universal Studios movies back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
You had E.T., Jurassic Park, Jaws, you name it, more than likely John Williams was the composer on it. But when I first was watching the trailer, I was like, all right, this looks interesting. And then the Lucasfilms title card hits, and they start playing Duel of the Fates. And every time I get goosebumps still. Like,
Yes, you do.
it
Yeah,
was
Like
definitely.
visible.
like,
It's not. He's not kidding. It's not like oh, like this.
I
gives me
still
the
have 'em.
tinglies. Yeah, no, like he's got goosebumps on his arms.
like literally, and that's just one of my favorite composed pieces for any movie. And everyone who's like, "Oh, it's from Revenge of the Sith," like, yes, it is, but it was actually written for the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Like, that is essentially Darth Maul's like
Theme song.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like, that's his entrance music if he was in WWF or WWE or whatever it is. Like,
That is fucking awesome.
just
Yeah.
get some JR behind him. Oh my god, it's a bloodbath. Like,
So let me ask you the question then. Would you like to see like a quick cameo from Darth Maul, or do you want to see like a downright battle?
so for me, I've always been the proponent where I think Maul needs its own show. I would love
Okay.
to see a Darth Maul show. Now, granted, you could say that that's pretty much what Clone Wars and some of Rebels was him hunting down Obi-Wan and looking for Obi-Wan, and that was his whole endgame. And maybe I would like to see, maybe he finds Obi-Wan here and there's a quick battle and Obi-Wan escapes or something, gets away, and then that's all we see of him. But I wouldn't mind seeing a cameo of Maul here if they're planning on doing more with him down the line. I don't want them to just throw him in here for fan service. Throw him in there for a purpose. Like, he's had his screen time. He's had, obviously Phantom Menace was way too short-lived. They did him justice. They brought him back. He learned all about, like, his family, his roots, his ties.
Yeah, you gave that history lesson. I like that.
Yeah, like you met
brother.
Savage. Yeah, the brother Savage. You met him, saw like that whole route where they went and tried to overthrow Palpatine. When they came out with the new last season of Clone Wars, like that was very heavy with him running Mandalore and having the dark saber. So like I think it would be cool at this point in time to see Maul wielding the dark saber at this point. But again, I mean, we're getting Vader and we're getting Inquisitor. So like I don't want it to turn into Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3 where there's so much going on that you lose sight of what the show's really about, which is Obi-Wan in his exile now at this point, watching over a young Luke.
Sure. No, I agree with you like 1,000%. So I don't want it to be taken away from the Obi-Wan or like Ewan McGregor, which I know there's going to be so much shit going on in the show that you're still going to see like, okay, we have Hayden Christensen confirmed as Darth Vader. Like that in and of itself is a big pull right there. So am I saying that's going to take away from Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan? Absolutely not, because he has such a tie to Anakin, to Vader, to that whole storyline. So like, I think it's going to mesh very well. But I agree. If you were to like drop Ahsoka and Darth Maul and this person and that person, like it's just how much is too much. I'm sure they're going to eventually have like a cutback to when he was training, and maybe like a Yoda cameo. And again, there's just so much shit that they could possibly do with it, that because they did show the one scene where the two pods were dispersing, and that's when both him and Yoda are going into exile. So are we going to have a Yoda scene? Maybe. Are we just going to reference the fact that the pods are dispersing? Sure. Like, that's fine too.
I could see it picking up right at the end of like Revenge of the Sith as like a flashback scene, and that's where, okay, you're going to take Luke to Tatooine and watch over him there. I'm going to go to Dagobah and do my like exile there.
Meditation.
Yeah, eat some frogs. Do whatever you gotta do there. Yeah, Yoda's like an apex predator in Dagobah.
Dude, he really is. Like, it's just funny.
So, I have some questions for AJ. What are you most excited for with this series?
Honestly, I'm most excited to see another Darth Vader Obi-Wan square off.
Okay.
If that happens, I will just be through the moon. I can't wait to see something like that again, especially with what they could pull off with the choreography now.
Yes, I think that. So I know, Mark, you had mentioned earlier, like there was a lot of hate that came for the prequel series, but I think that hate was so vastly overshadowed by the hate for the sequel series that people were like, you know what, the prequels aren't that bad. Like, and I agree. So like I think in the beginning, and I'm gonna say this even about myself, I hated the prequels because other people hated the prequels. I didn't necessarily hate them because they were bad. I hated them because like it was a cool thing to hate the prequel series. I hate the sequel series because they're just garbage.
It's like Nickelback. They never really did anything wrong.
They didn't do anything wrong.
Everybody hates them for some reason. Like,
they're still doing their thing, whatever. But no, honestly, like for me, it's the prequel series were important. I don't. Again, you can't take any classic movie and like remake it or make a sequel to it and it's going to be successful. Not everything's going to be successful. I mean, look at the fucking Sandlot. That movie was a knockout. And then they made the Sandlot 2. I'm pretty sure there's like a Sandlot 3 and 4. Please just stop.
Yeah.
Like with these movies, at least there's like a storyline. There's a, you know, an important chain of events that happen, and like there is like a literal timeline in which all of this shit falls. So it is important to have these prequel movies to understand how we got to where we are now.
Well, the thing with the prequel movies is they didn't have the technology that they needed to be able to pull off 1, 2, and 3.
I mean, I see that, but I also think, like, again, shy of like the remastered versions of like 4, 5, 6, they were still good movies, and they were made in the fucking 70s, like, you know, or sorry, 70s and 80s. Like they were fucking great,
Right?
Especially for what they had of the time.
Honestly, if you even think back to Revenge of the Sith, like that opening scene where it's like they're flying through a battle in space, like that was so well done with the technology like that they had. And the fact that 99% of the fight scene between Anakin and Obi-Wan was actually Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Like, here and there would be a stunt double going in, but for the most part, like, it was them two doing it. And the fact that they have that kind of passion and now they're working on this project together again.
Yeah. I mean, when you think back to, like, Hayden Christensen's acting career, like, he has a few things that really stand out, and Star Wars is probably number one.
Right.
I mean, and then there was that movie Jumper, which was a great movie. The video game was hot garbage, but
well, Ewan McGregor is actually an executive producer on this show too, so like,
so I think that's a huge thing. And I know there's a lot of pushback on like Ewan McGregor and how like Obi-Wan was going to be portrayed in this, and like he wasn't super happy with a lot of the stuff that was going on, and he wanted to like rewrite the script. And I think him having his hands that deep inside of it is important,
right?
Because he is
Obi-Wan,
like, and he lived Obi-Wan.
And I mean, honestly, since the prequels, like I feel like a lot of people have come around to them because, everybody's like, "Oh, Anakin's turn was so quick," but then we got Clone Wars, where now you're actually seeing like what happened on the battlefield with him and Obi-Wan, where it was just like in the movies, it was like, "Oh, we're gonna go here," and then the next scene, it's like, "Okay, we're back," and it's like, "Oh, we're gonna go here," and then the next scene's like, "Oh, we're back." Like you didn't see what happened. Where in Clone Wars, you could see Anakin being the over-aggressive kind of like captain basically of the military. Like Obi-Wan was more passive, wait for the droid army or whoever to do their thing. Anakin was more push, and even in the duel between Anakin and Vader on Mustafar, Anakin was the aggressor. Like at no point in time up until when Obi-Wan actually won was Obi-Wan really in control of that fight. He was on his heels the entire fight because of Anakin's fighting style. And now, like, when you had Obi-Wan versus Vader in the later movies, like, they were older. It was, like, 3 little clink, clink, clink. He gets hit and just vanishes. Like, all right, I get it. Like, it was an older guy. You're not going to be able to get, like, the jumping around like Yoda versus Dooku. Yeah, like, you're not going to get that kind of a choreography back then with what they had. But now, like, you saw at the end of Rogue One what they could do with Vader.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're bringing that into a full series. Like, I am so amped to see, like, what they can do with that character. And, like, we've seen him now fleshed out. So it's like, oh, his turn didn't happen over the course of, like, a week, like it seems to be in the movies. It's like, okay, when he's, like, a little kid in Phantom Menace, like, you learn that, his background, he was a slave and this and that. And you see, like, he got pulled out, but his mom didn't. Episode 2, he goes and he kills all the people, the Tusken Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
He just slaughters all the Raiders, the women and the children too.
It's a little much, but yeah.
Yeah. No, it was 100% overkill, but like, you start seeing that hatred. And me and you, Steve, were even talking about it. Like, they flesh out Vader before you actually get Vader in those movies. First, you get Darth Maul, who's the embodiment of hate and what the Sith stand for.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the second episode, you have Dooku, who's your fallen Jedi. He sees the world in a different point of view. He goes to the dark side to learn that I could be a powerful Jedi, or I could take what I learned from the Jedi, learn the dark side, and now be an even stronger individual. Yeah. And you got, the Jedi background. Then in the third one, you get Grievous, who's half cyborg, and he's got all his mechanical parts. So you put all 3 of those people together, Dooku, Maul, and Grievous, and you have Vader. He's an embodiment of hate who's a fallen Jedi who's now mostly mechanical.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting look into the creation of Darth Vader because again, he's one of the most well-known, like him and the Joker.
Right.
Like when you think of like bad guys that have made their marks on history. And I'm going to be honest with you, like I think it's huge and I'm excited to see what they do with Vader in this. And again, like you said, there's a lot of people that were like, "Oh, Anakin really had like he was a kid, he was a young adult, and then he was Vader." Like that was it. Like there was no real like in between. And now, like you said, with Clone Wars and all the animated series, like you really got to see the nitty gritty of Anakin being that kid who like couldn't stop himself from just doing. And I know there was like the running joke in Clone Wars where he's like, "Anakin, if you think about it, just no, just don't do it." And that's who he is, though. He's very passionate. He doesn't think with his head; he thinks with his heart.
He's very impulsive.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's one of those characters that like he's just gonna do whatever the fuck he wants, whether you tell him to or not. And like that's just who he is. And I think that led him obviously down the path into the dark side, which is fine. But I think with this starting out with Luke as a young kid, it's going to give us more of that because Luke was what in his teens when he.
I think he was supposed to be like
younger.
16, 17, okay, so somewhere in that range.
Yeah, so he was in like his later teens. So now we're going to see Luke as a young kid growing into those years and like what sort of built him. We see the pod racing goggles, which very well could have been his father's, which I think is awesome because he's doing like the pod racing, like lean on the like roof of the house. I love it. I thought pod racing was one of the coolest things that they ever invented in Star Wars. Like obviously other than the lightsabers and like the Force.
Right.
But I wish they had more of that. Maybe we'll get some of that in this because it's, very old school, this is like pretty much everything. This is what movies 4 is it before 4? I guess yes, that's before 4, so it's between 3 and 4.
Yeah, this is like 1 year I think after Revenge of the Sith, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so
this is like picking up like right after the prequel trilogy, and Rogue One was right before 4. So this is either simultaneously going on with Rogue One, or this is right before the events of Rogue One. Because like I said, you get Vader at the end, and he's hunting down Leia, trying to get the plans for the Death Star, which is what you find out that's what they went to steal in Rogue One.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that I love about this timeline that's just like constantly splintering off left and right. I mean, like you look at The Mandalorian, you look at like Rogue One, Solo. I know you haven't seen it, but like all of these movies, you have the basic 9, and I'm still going to count the last 3 in here just because it's important for the timeline. But you have the basic 9, and now you're like, all right, well, we're going to start, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're branching off here, and we're branching off here, we're branching off here. And, okay, between episodes 2 and 3, you have this branch, and that's an animated series. Okay, cool. And now you have, like, Bad Batch. And now you're getting Mandalorian, which is, when Luke was a Jedi Master, Ahsoka's in there. Like, so you're getting so much of the stuff, Book of Boba Fett. And now it's all slowly tying in together. And, I mean, you're just building a world that you didn't know needed to be built further, but no one's complaining because they're doing it the right way. And I'm shocked because it's Disney, and Disney fucking atrocity with the last 3 movies.
Terrible.
Yeah. And I think they took a lot of the backlash they got for that trilogy, and I think they're now trying to rewrite it.
Yeah, hey, Jon Favreau, just come fucking fix this. Like, you literally fix everything else.
Yeah. Him and Dave Filoni.
Yeah. Well, Jon Favreau is like, he's the million fucking movie man. He just, anything he makes is fucking King Midas here.
He's got the golden touch.
He does. Like, I mean, Elf. Iron Man. I mean, he's had hands in The Mandalorian. He's had, I mean, every movie he's in or, like, touches is just, it's a great fucking movie.
Yeah, no, and I mean, and the one thing that I want to see, though, is, like, Vader still kind of being haunted by Anakin. Because, like, that's the whole duality of that character is, like, yes, Anakin becomes Darth Vader, but, like, even, like, Padme, she straight up says, like, there's still good in him, like... And you see that, like, at the end of Clone Wars when he goes back and you see all, like, those soldiers' helmets on the pikes, and he reaches down, digs through the snow, and he finds Ahsoka's lightsaber. And he kind of, like, looks up, and it's almost like you can't see anything because he's wearing a mask. But you can actually, if you watch closely, you can see through the eyes of the mask, and you can see it's almost like a hopeful look, like I hope she survived.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of these characters that wear like full face masks is adding that extra level of emotion to their character. Like I mean, goddamn, did they kill that? They knocked it out of the park with the Mandalorian. Like for a man that has literally no face, I feel so many emotions. Like, and they do the same with Vader. Like, and Vader's supposed to be the bad guy, but like you said, there's that duality. There's the hope that the good is still there, and that you're able to see through the darkness, and then kind of like see that light. And I think because he trained as a Jedi first, and he was like inherently good, he was just kind of wild, and easily, I guess, manipulated would be the best. I mean, if he just hung out and stuck with the Jedi and like Palpatine wasn't in the position he was in and like the Council, this never would have happened. I mean, he would have been, I guess, more along the lines of like Ahsoka than anything else.
That's a huge what if hypothetical, though.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm saying it. Yeah, if Palpatine didn't get his hands on him and wasn't like, I'm going to tell you about this guy and like this person defeated death and you can learn it, but you can't learn it with the Jedi. Like, if that conversation never happened, the entire storyline would be just wildly different, and I'm glad that they added that in there because that is such a huge part of who his character is.
And so here's something that I want to pose to you, Steve, and to you, AJ.
Shoot.
How would you guys feel, because I want to do a whole episode on this because there's so much we can get into.
Okay.
But how would you feel about doing an episode about what if Qui-Gon Jinn never dies? And it's Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan raising Anakin through the Jedi ranks, not just Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Because I feel like all the combatancy he had with Mace Windu, like a lot of his manipulation came from, okay, the Jedi are telling me that I'm supposed to be this prophet, but they're not treating me like that. Like, I don't get a seat on the council. Like, you promote me the master, but I don't get the rank.
I don't get the respect of master, but
Exactly.
I wear the title.
I'm doing the job, but you're not paying me for it.
Pretty much. So
It's like a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps.
And I mean, Qui-Gon was the main reason why Anakin got in, because originally they were like, he's too old to start his training. He could have already been tainted, which you learn he was.
Yeah.
But how would you guys feel about
Like a what if series?
like a what if episode, just diving into like how would things have been different had Qui-Gon, who was more understanding, who believed in, even though he was a Jedi, believed in not being afraid of your emotions, and how he could have helped Anakin work through some of his like PTSD essentially.
I think that would be a great series. Even like, I mean, yes, we can definitely cover that in an episode. Like, I'm totally cool with that, but I think that would be a cool like what if series.
Right.
Very similar like what Marvel does. Like what if this person did this, or what if this person did that? Like, what if Qui-Gon Jinn didn't die? What if they found Palpatine on the council sooner? What if all of these things happened, and how would it have changed? Because I feel like what you and I are shooting at is essentially the same thing. Like Qui-Gon Jinn would have helped him, navigate his emotions properly. Whereas if Palpatine wasn't there, he still would have been an emotional fucking prick. But at least he would have still been a Jedi.
Right.
Or maybe he would have gone like gray Jedi or something, just because he's like, I'm crazy.
Because I mean, even Ahsoka walked away from the Jedi Order, so
Correct.
like maybe Anakin would have done the same, walk away from the Order for a little bit.
Maybe they would have like paired up and done their own thing together, and like I'm cool with that. And I agree with you. Like, it's not like the Jedi and the Sith are so similar but so vastly different.
Right.
Because like it's one is like embrace your emotions, the other one is have no fucking emotions. And I mean, there is like the whole Jedi code, and we've actually gone over that in a previous episode. But no, like they are very similar because they essentially force their beliefs in one direction, and it's either like you follow suit or don't. There's no real in between. So I don't know. There's a lot we can unpack with everything that goes on in Star Wars. We can have a million mini-series. I think a what if series would be cool. I think a what if series, just like in general, if we just took a comic or like a movie or a storyline or a character and like what if the shit out of them.
Dude, I'm down. But there's so many things though. Like, I just can't wait to see that interaction with Obi-Wan and Vader if we get it, because it's like, is Vader still lost in all that hate now that Palpatine's gone and he can kind of reflect on the events that happened in the prequels? Or is he now just as bad as Palpatine at this point and just gung-ho going forward? Because like we know from written works that when the Death Star first gets blown up and he kind of shoots out into space, his whole trip back, he's just hunting and slaughtering
Yes,
Jedi.
just straight murdering motherfuckers.
Right.
So I'm curious as to sort of like where we fall into, like, he's still technically a new Vader because this is a year or two after 3. So, you know, you referenced Batman earlier, like this is like year 2 Vader.
Right.
So, you know, is he still pissed off? Is he, you know, just allowing, because I mean, he essentially is using the Force to move his entire body. Like he's a giant cybernetic hunk of metal that it just exists
And he's
in
actually
space.
weaker because of the mechanical parts of
Correct.
him, which
So-
is insane to think about.
Yeah, well, and
What he
that's
would
why,
have been.
correct, and that's what I'm saying. Like he would have been an amazing Jedi because he would have been like the most powerful Jedi in history, and I think that would be huge. I mean, like people were afraid of him, even that like he was on their side, and they were like, "Fuck, like I don't really want to fuck with that guy. Like he's wildly powerful."
I have a feeling that he's still going to be battling the mental emotions and everything that he went through when after he lost Padme.
Yeah,
So I think that's going to play a huge part in his role if we get to see a lot of him, and it's going to be more anger, regret, and then the emotions are going to take over, and that's where the hatred's going to come from.
yeah, no, I agree with that, and I'd like to see a really pissed off Vader because I feel like in the newer movies, you know, like 4, 5, and 6, he was like he's obviously pissed. He's a bad guy. He's like kind of pissed off all the time, but he's just kind of like passively pissed off. Like you spend 25 years at your job and you're just like, I fucking hate this place. God damn it, these people are all fucking idiots. Like that's kind of where he's at. He's like, God,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. Like he's not yelling at people. He's just like, I'm done with you. I'm choke you. Oh, you're dead. All right, cool. Next, next on the agenda. And I think that's where they're going to come in with like, all right, he's still fucking mad as fuck right now.
Right.
And he wants to like take everyone's head off. So I'd like to see that anger, like fight on sight when he sees Obi-Wan.
See, and that's the interaction I'm curious to see is does he go fight on sight or does he go, oh shit, like it's Obi-Wan. The last time I saw him was his last words to him were literally, I hate you.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a mixed bag of emotions, but I think because of who Anakin is and he thinks that his emotions make him weak, and at this point where he's at, like, the first thought's going to be like, last time I saw him, he beat my ass.
right.
I'm fucking pissed. And just get, like, raged the fuck out and, like, just start swinging. And, again, I'm postulating here. God fucking knows what's actually going to happen. But, like, that would be cool as shit.
Yeah, because I mean, like, when they're fighting, like, literally, Obi-Wan's like, Anakin, how can you not see it? The Sith are evil. And he says, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Well, I'm curious now that, well, no, Palpatine would still be around then if this is after 3.
This is after he got kicked out of the council.
So technically, Palpatine's still around up until 9, but... if we're going to get real technical here, he's just...
so...
He's living on life support and fucking...
But... Yeah, I'm really excited to see what kind of new twist they take on Vader and the development of the character, because there's just so much to unpack there with him as a character, and
Absolutely.
literally, like...
This is like Vader's prequel.
Pretty much. My thing is, I don't think they're just going to go right in, guns blazing, swinging at each other. There's definitely going to be an interaction of some sort of hope from Obi-Wan to Anakin to try to get him to come back.
Right.
And then it's going to be, I'm not him anymore, and the lightsaber is going to open up. And
Yeah,
that'll probably be the end of an
That would be
episode.
fucking cool. I mean, yeah. I mean, he's fully aware of that. Oh, wait. Does he know at this point? Because he watched Anakin die. So he doesn't actually know that it's Vader. But Vader knows who he is. So we're talking a year or two afterwards. Like, he doesn't know that Vader's Anakin yet.
Well, that's a good point.
So, like, it's just, you're walking down the street and there's some dude that got facial reconstructive surgery. They just fight on sight because you guys got into a fight a couple years ago and you don't remember who the hell he is.
Now, I feel like he would know Vader is Anakin because, like,
He can feel
he would be able
who
to
it is.
sense it through the Force.
But, so...
You know what I mean?
But, all right, so, and maybe, and this is just like, we're going to go Lego Star Wars here real quick. Like, there is a Force ghost of Anakin, right?
Right.
So maybe Anakin is dead. Like, Anakin's soul is dead. So maybe he doesn't sense him. Because there's no Force Ghost unless you die, but obviously he's not dead. But he technically did die. They just brought him back as Darth Vader.
But he didn't die.
Well, correct.
They
Because
saved him.
He died on the inside.
Yeah, he's dead on the inside.
He's dead on the
no
inside.
longer
Because
he's no longer him.
in episode 6, when he like takes his helmet off, like that's him coming back to being Anakin.
The Jedi.
Like that's yes, and that's like Anakin coming back, and that's where a lot of people say like maybe the prophecy was right. Anakin did bring balance technically back to the Force by throwing Sidious down the thing. He takes his own life essentially by taking off his mask. Like,
Yeah.
But for me too, another thing that we could get bringing up Force Ghosts, we could get a scene with Qui-Gon.
Ah, yes, please.
Ah, that would be awesome.
Obi-Wan because episode 3 they tease like, you know, when you're dead you're not really dead with the Force, and he's like, I'm going to teach you how to communicate with one of your old masters, Qui-Gon. So maybe here we'll actually see Obi-Wan looking to Qui-Gon for guidance in an episode,
Yeah.
and I think that would be kind of cool. But
I got the
think
chills
that'd be
thinking
awesome.
about that.
Yeah, that'd be fucking dope.
but now, like you said, I don't know, maybe he won't know that Vader is Anakin.
Yeah, this is just like speculating because again, it's only 2 years afterwards, and they haven't really seen each other. He's been in exile.
Unless
He's kind of doing his own thing.
right before the confrontation, like Obi-Wan's like, obviously he knows Vader's trying to come after him because he's a Jedi, but like Anakin takes the mask off to show Obi-Wan like this is
This is who I am.
kind
now.
of like a Troy type of a scene. Like he takes his helmet off, he's like, now you know who you're fighting.
Yeah.
Like,
Or maybe he. So again, just because of the, like you said in episode 6, he takes his mask off and sort of just dies. Maybe he references something from their past. Maybe he references that fight on Mustafar.
calls him Master.
I would
Yeah.
like to hear "I Have the High Ground" now come out of Darth Vader.
I have the high ground. Yeah,
Yeah.
because my whole thing too is like the way that I always viewed it, like going back to the whole like I can teach you how to save the ones you love from dying, and how can you learn it? Not from a Jedi.
Yep.
So I think that part of that technique that Sidious used was having Padme basically Padme dies from a broken heart.
Which is bullshit.
But I think it's deeper, and I'm wondering if her life force leaving is what gives Anakin the strength to survive.
That might be it. Like,
So
you
it's
gotta
like,
go, like sap someone's life force from them.
right, so it's kind of like energy can neither be created nor destroyed, so when she
just
died, it got...
passes.
Exactly. So I'm wondering if... I've always believed that that's kind of the route that they went with it without saying it.
Well, I mean,
And
yeah, 'cause
if
the scenes are
Anakin...
simultaneous.
and if that is true and Anakin knows this, like, is he starting right now? Is he starting the plot against the Emperor? Because...
Well, yeah. I mean, and then I guess my only like argument to that, and not even like against it, is just that would piss me the fuck off. Like if I was him, like, okay, so you're teaching me that I can do this. So essentially, like whoever you build a strong connection with, you can take their life force from them.
Right.
Because you guys have such a strong connection, and like he realized he was tricked. Oh fuck yeah, dude.
And that's what I'm saying too, because it's like reason why he went to the dark side was to save Padme.
Yep.
And now it could be the dark side is essentially what caused her death.
Yep.
And if that comes out somehow, or if he figures that out, like we've seen in the Clone Wars, like Maul brings on an apprentice knowing that that's against the Sith code, since he's technically the apprentice to Sidious.
Yeah.
So by him bringing on his brother as a Sith apprentice, like maybe that's where we get the Inquisitors now. This is like Anakin's team of pretty much like it's him having an apprentice without having an apprentice.
I also think that he could be using the Inquisitors. Like, all right, so essentially he is like the big bad.
Right.
You know, Darth Vader is the biggest bad in fucking Star Wars history.
Cinema history,
Yeah.
I would argue.
And he's trying to stop because maybe he doesn't believe, because he was originally supposed to be a Jedi, that the prophecy has been fulfilled.
Okay.
So he is hunting anyone that could potentially fulfill that prophecy.
That's possible too.
I did have that thought at one point.
Like, I mean, wouldn't you, if you were like, you know, Neo from the Matrix, you know, like you weren't really like the one,
Right.
you know, and there was like another person out there that could potentially, and you ended up going bad, like a rogue. and there's a guy out there that you know that could stop you, or at least could fulfill the prophecy, even though technically, like you said, Vader did, because he did bring balance to the Force. But, like, if you thought the entire time, like, shit, there's someone else out there that's going to fucking stop me. He's going to be way more powerful than I am, and I know how powerful I am.
Right.
Like, fuck. I just got to kill everyone. And that's why he goes around hunting Jedi. Like, it could be any Jedi, and they just haven't unlocked that power yet.
No, and like we know the Inquisitors hunt down Force-sensitive people, whether
Correct.
it's kids, adults, teens, whatever.
Women, children, they're all over the place.
So, I mean, I would be super stoked if that's the case. I think that would be an awesome twist to have in the show itself.
In the trailer, you did see, I mean, it looked like someone was hanging. They could have been using the Force choking them.
Yep.
Right.
Which I think would be interesting.
Exactly. That left a huge question right there. Was it a kid? Was it a woman? Was it a teenager? Who is that? And what is it? Where are they going with this?
I wonder, and this again is just based on what you said, because we had watched the trailer breakdown, and they said like it's probably not someone hanging because like it's very dark, like it's not that's not Disney.
Although I mean, look at Boba Fett.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like it's not.
Fennec Shand definitely hung that dude.
Oh yeah.
Like
But, it's not one of those things they're going to be like super out in the open about. But what I'm curious, and this is again just like me fucking throwing a fan theory out there, what if whoever that person is that's like suspended was trying to cover up for Luke because they knew he was Force sensitive, and like they were obviously hunting someone, so this person like gave themselves up to save Luke, and then they were put on display, and that's why Luke's uncle was in the crowd,
right.
and he's like, oh shit, like it just went down, like we gotta get the fuck out of here, like we gotta.
What if it was Luke?
It very well could have been. I feel like his uncle would have had more of a reaction though, because he was kind of like, like okay, this is happening. But if he knew that like whatever, like they're friends or whatever, like oh, if they come looking for him, I'll say it was us, or like I'll say it's me. Don't worry about it. We'll handle it. I feel like that's the route they're gonna take, because obviously, in the trailer breakdown that we'd watched, they speculate that Obi-Wan leaves Tatooine and like makes the Inquisitors follow after him.
Yeah,
I think it's a Force.
Looking now, I don't think it would be Luke. The feet are just
too big.
He's
it looks like a teen or an adult.
Right.
So again, it could have been someone that was like, like I'm Force sensitive. I mean, we watched Avatar.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm a waterbender. Like take me.
Right.
And like they were trying to like save Katara.
No, I definitely think it's that. I just don't think it's Luke.
No, it's definitely not Luke. I disagree with that because it looks too adultish.
Well, just from watching it briefly, the way I did, it was like it could be in my head, but
honestly, like with this kind of shit, anything could be fucking anything. Like we have no idea. There's no like guarantee in any direction. We're just, don't quote us on anything at all, please, for the love of God, unless. If Lucasfilms or Disney or anyone wants to sign us on to start writing scripts for you, like I'm here for the storyboard.
Yeah, because then I mean, even here you have this scene here where it's definitely Stormtrooper armor that's beaten up.
Beat the fuck up. It could be Captain Rex.
If they bring Captain Rex in, I would be so happy.
Oh yeah, God Almighty!
He is my favorite clone. For
such a short trailer, there's so much like that they teased about. Oh man, it's so fucking good. So much. Oh, I want to watch all of it.
Yeah, like, oh god, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, they had so many Inquisitors in this, which is awesome because now they're bringing those to life. Like, what I've noticed is the Disney Plus era of Star Wars, and like, Filoni, Favreau, like these people are essentially just taking all of Clone Wars, making it canon, and making it live action, which is fucking awesome. I'm so cool with that. But there's so many, like, I would like to see like the High Republic. It's a book, a book series, and it starts like hundreds of years before even the prequel movies. So, it's one of those things that like I would love to see that come to life as well. That's another huge thing.
So it looks like it shows, I don't know if she's an Inquisitor or not, because like we were talking about, she doesn't have like the lightsaber that they do.
Yeah.
But she's chasing somebody through like the town square.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at it now, I'm wondering if the person she's chasing is who is hanging or whatever the case be.
That kind of looks like Luke's uncle though, from behind.
Yeah, but
There's so many questions that can be asked about this trailer.
Well, so that's the thing. I think what they're trying to do here is they're trying to raise more questions than they answer, which is exactly what they did. Like, I am...
Well, they hit the hammer to the nail on this teaser.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
They fucking crushed it.
Because since I've seen the trailers that have dropped, I have had so many questions. Mark answered a couple of them for me today because after watching Clone Wars and then seeing this, I was like, wait, what is going on here? And I wasn't putting two together when it came to the Inquisitors. Inquisitor, yeah.
The exquisite Inquisitor.
Exquisite. But now I actually was like, all right, cool. Now I know what I'm looking at. I'm good to go.
No, man, I'm right there with you. Like, I am 110% on, like, this is going to be fucking crazy. They got a lot of stuff to flesh out. And I'm here for it. So give me all of the Star Wars shit. You hear me say that all the fucking time. Just give me all of the shit. Like, since Disney Plus has been a thing, it has been extremely successful in building this, like, alternate Star Wars universe. It's like the offshoot shit that's not the basic movies.
Since Disney Plus came out, I have watched every Star Wars movie, TV show, side quest. I've watched everything Star Wars related at least 2, 3, 4 times again.
Oh, absolutely, you have to. And it's one of those things that, I was super excited for when the movies came out, and then that was kind of a flop, and I felt like the lightsaber scenes were dog shit. And that's just my opinion of it, but it seems to be like a very common opinion. And
the newest movies, they definitely could have done better.
Oh, absolutely, I would have
100% done better.
I wanted to see an evil Rey so fucking bad, so goddamn bad.
That would have been
when I found out she was Palpatine's like
niece.
Fucking, she's related to Palpatine. Like I was like, yes, dark side. But no, she ended up going with the yellow lightsaber, which was whatever.
Still badass though.
Oh, it's still badass because it's not super common. And again, it's one of those things. It's like Clone Wars. They had the Temple Guardians, and like she's now like guarding, quote unquote, the fucking Jedi Order. And like, fuck off. You're a fucking loser.
I just like that they have everyone lined up, and they're literally looking at everyone trying to figure out who's a Jedi in this.
Absolutely. And there's so many little fucking things in the entire trailer. Like as we sit there and like watch the trailer at like 0.25 speed, you're like, oh my god, there's so much this and there's so much of that, and like the fucking Inquisitors with their double blade spinning lightsabers, like that's fucking badass. So they're just like the lazy version of Maul.
Pretty much.
It's called what it is. Like, we're not going to spin it because we know it's dangerous, so we're going to get an object to spin it for us. And, like, I'm not even going to fuck around with you. I have a lightsaber, and I fuck around with it, and I would absolutely, without a doubt, pull a fucking Mandalorian and cut my shit. I would fucking cut my shit so bad. And I like to think I'm okay with it. But, yeah, so... I mean, that's really all I've got as far as the trailer goes. I know we're digging kind of deep for this. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're speculating on a lot of shit. Yeah, I mean, we're speculating. That's what we can do. That's really all we can do. We got a fucking minute 45 seconds of what is it? Probably going to be 8 to 10 episodes in the season. Roughly anywhere between like 35 and 40 minutes long. And I'm just ready for it, man. I'm super fucking excited.
Well, so, Ice Cube and his son are both in it.
Ice Cube and his son are in Star Wars, and like.
That's so interesting.
We had Machete in Star Wars. Like, I am all about bringing in crazy fucking actors and actresses in this shit, and like, let's just fucking go. Let's go.
I like that they're actually using good actors.
Oh yeah, I mean they're all great.
It's not like they're just pulling some name out of a hat and throwing. Oh, you're gonna play this person. No,
William Shatner. Billy Shatz. We're gonna bring you in
Obi Wan.
Yeah.
Kenobi.
And I do like that they're bringing in people that we've already seen play the role.
Correct. Oh, yeah. That's huge.
You got Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor coming back. You got Joel Egerton coming back as Uncle Owen, like Bonnie Pies, I think is how you say her name, coming back as like Luke's aunt. Like,
yeah, I can't pronounce that last name. So it looks like it says PS, but yeah, I couldn't fucking tell you.
I'm not even gonna make an attempt.
Yeah, no, I'm good. It was rough enough going to high school with a bunch of kids that I couldn't pronounce the names of. So here we are. But all right. So, any last thoughts, AJ?
I'm just super excited. I can't wait for episode 1. I'm blown away. I don't, like Mark said earlier, I don't really want to see answers in another trailer because it's Disney. There is going to be another trailer. We already know that's going to happen.
Yep.
But this trailer was definitely a huge tease, and I'm super stoked for the first episode to come out.
Yeah, I mean, May 25th can't come soon enough.
I could not agree more, and I like the fact that it was May 25th was the
I believe it
original
was
release.
the original release, I think, of episode 4.
Yeah, so
if I'm
like
not
that's
mistaken.
that is a big callback. Which again, that little shit and attention to detail right there is what like diehard fans are looking for.
Yep, May 25th, 1977.
1977, May 25th, and now we're doing this so many years later. Like I'm so fucking excited. But yeah, we are here for it. We're ready, and we will be your main source of coverage. So give us all a listen. Last but not least, guys, check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Something Super Podcast, at SS Podcast 52 on Twitter. We're on all of your major streaming platforms, and guys, hopefully within the next month or so, we're going to start doing video, so we'll be posting that to Spotify and YouTube. So give us a check out on there, and we'll let you know when that's coming. Also, before I fail to mention this, we are doing a giveaway for the Multiverse of Madness tickets. So we're going to be doing this and mentioning it to you guys every single week. We're going to be posting it every single week on our social medias. At any given time, if you like and share to your story, you retweet us, you share it on Facebook, and you tag us in it, that gives you one free entry. You could enter as many times as you'd like, and we'll be giving away 2 free tickets to go see Multiverse of Madness, an opening night or whenever night you'd like to see it. So, finally, I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
I'm AJ.
And we'll catch you guys next week.